Hello again, Steve Fentress from the Strassenberg Planetarium at the Rochester Museum and Science Center with the sky for the week of May 21st, planets plus the International Space Station in our sky every night this week. Let's start at 9 p.m. The sun has just set, and we're going to switch to a zero horizon with our Stellarium software, an absolutely flat horizon with no trees or houses, so we can see beautiful planet Venus and rarely seen planet Mercury appearing near it. We go to the evenings of the 22nd and 23rd, Sunday evening, May 24th. Razor thin crescent moon appearing near Venus. I think Venus will be the easy one to spot, then the moon, and then with binoculars look in between for Mercury. This is Sunday evening, May 24th, about 9 o'clock in the evening. Let's switch our time back to May 21st and put in this French landscape, which is not too different from Western New York, and settle in to watch the beautiful western sky as we let Earth rotate. The sun goes farther below the horizon. Stars begin to come out. Satellites passing overhead. This is the time of night to see those. And we have the Arch of Springtime, Procyon and Pollux, Castor and Capella, 4 stars making a huge archway over the west-northwestern sky every evening in spring, every year. And then we're going to swing over to the northwest and advance time to a little later. We've already seen some satellites go overhead, but there's a really spectacular one that's going to make at least one appearance every night for the next week. And in a moment, I'll show you how to find the exact times for your location. On Thursday, the 21st of May, we're going to look at about 10:30 p.m. facing northwest. There it is. That bright thing slowly moving past the star Capella is the International Space Station. Now I've slowed time down. This is actual speed. This is how fast it will appear to move. We click on it and our software identifies it as ISS with the Zarya Russian module included. And sometimes the alignment of Earth, Sun, and the orbit of the space station are just right that we get International Space Station passes for several nights in a row, and that's happening this week. Most evenings we get 2 chances to see it go overhead. Each orbit takes about an hour and a half, so we see on many of these evenings one pass just after the sun sets and another one about an hour and a half later, sometime around the midnight hour, give or take an hour or so. How to find the times that you'll see the International Space Station. Well, here's a website we use at the planetarium, heavens-above.com. It's a commercial site from Germany. There are other websites and apps that will give you space station predictions, but this one has always worked out well for us. You must always tell it your location, or the information you get won't be good for you. You can put in your latitude and longitude if you know it, or select your town name from a list. The predictions we'll see here will be good for anywhere within about 30 miles of Rochester. If you're farther than that, you might want to put in your own info. We go down to satellites and click on 10-day predictions for satellites of special interest. There's ISS, the International Space Station. Click on that and we get visible passes for the 10-day period starting May 20th. And in this table we get the date and then brightness magnitude. Now, more negative numbers are better. Star brightness magnitudes go backwards. The faintest star you can see in the Little Dipper is about magnitude 5, for example. The star Spica is magnitude 1. The star Vega is magnitude 0. Sirius in the winter sky is about minus 1.4. So these are all bright passes. Then we see the time in 24-hour military style that the station first becomes visible and the direction. But to show you more, let me go to a really spectacular one. May 29th, Friday, May 29th, minus 3.9. That is Brightest Venus. Click on the date and it generates a star chart for that particular pass. So I see here we'll be looking northwest, and at about 10:35 p.m. the station should appear above the horizon, and then a minute later it's here, a minute later it's here, and so on, going past the Big Dipper overhead, and then the track ends when the station goes into the shadow of the Earth and disappears. We see satellites at those times when we down here on the ground have had the sun set, so our sky is dark, but the orbiting object, in this case the space station, is up high where the sun is still shining on it. All right, back to our sky. We were looking west, and this is about 10:30 or so in the evening, so just after it's gotten good and dark. Let's look south now and crane our necks to look up high. In the prime time evening hours this week, there it is. No, not an obscure star, but the Big Dipper. High overhead, as it always is on spring evenings. There are the 4 stars of the cup, the curved handle of the Big Dipper, and from the handle follow the arc to Arcturus, bright orange-colored star, then sail on to Spica, bright bluish-white star. From the handle of the Big Dipper, part of the constellation Ursa Major, at least according to some ancient tradition. There's one artist's idea. And last week we looked at those 3 pairs of stars that are in the feet of the bear, if you want to think of it that way, known in an old Arab tradition as the 3 leaps of the Gazelle, always under the Big Dipper. Well, let's look around and see what else is going on here. The moon is out of the way, so we're going to have a dark sky, weather permitting, if you're far from lights. And we look in the middle part of the evening for the humongous summer triangle coming up, the stars Vega, Deneb, and Altair, and running right through the summer triangle, our Milky Way. There's an outline of the summer triangle. As I mentioned before, Vega is a star of magnitude 0, so the space station is going to be brighter than that on most of these passes. And then about the time the summer triangle is getting high in our sky this week, we're after midnight now, our morning planets come up. Jupiter, Saturn, and waiting longer and longer every morning, Mars, which is going to get really bright in October. Not quite that bright yet, but still a noticeable planet. And as more satellites appear, that means Earth is rotating us more and more in the direction of the sun. Night is coming to an end. Let's watch as the faint stars disappear, then the sky brightens to begin a new day. That's our sky this week. Thanks very much for watching.